In honor of Black History Month, the Michigan State Capitol is hosting a two-part series inviting Michiganders to delve into the careers of groundbreaking African Americans from the state capitol's 143-year-long history.
One thing I've learned over time is most people assume that historic buildings that date back to the 19th century were not places where women and people of color worked historically. But that's actually not true.
The first part of the series, held over Zoom Thursday, started with the work of leaders like Wilmot Johnson, a man who led a groundbreaking project cataloging Black life in the state back in 1915.
One of my favorites that we talked about at the previous program is a man named Wilmot Johnson, who worked as a clerk in the Auditor General's office for over 30 years. He was actually born, depending on which source you believe, in the 1840s or 1850s in Richmond, Virginia. And we find his family living in Canada in the early 1860s, which suggests that his family may have been enslaved. And after the war was over, his family moved to Detroit, and he was able to attend a business school and started clerking in government, first at a low level, and then he got a job in Lansing, where he spent the last 30 plus years of his life. He was a very involved member of the Hillsdale Baptist Church, which today is, it's an ancestor of Missionary Baptist, so one of Lansing's bigger Black churches. And he was also the executive chairman for the Michigan delegation that went to the Lincoln Jubilee in 1915, which was a huge African-American historical and cultural celebration in Chicago. And he was named to that important position in part because of his work in the Capitol. And he helped write and publish, actually, a book called The Michigan Manual of Freedmen's Progress, which is, in my opinion, as a historian, one of the best early 20th century documents that tells us about Michigan's African-American community. The next presentation is going to pick up in the 1950s with the work of Senator Cora Brown, who is the first Black woman to serve in the Michigan Senate, only the second woman to serve in the Senate overall. And we're really going to be looking from the 1950s forward at the impact of several different legislators, as it relates to civil rights in part, but also as it relates to the work that they did and kind of the webs of communication that are built.
Marvin says the presentation will show how the community of Black legislators and government officials has grown over time.
By the early 1960s, one woman that she knew in Detroit and had worked with, Daisy Elliott, is elected a delegate to the Constitutional Convention. Then she's elected to the legislature in the House. We, of course, remember her today as the author of the Elliott-Larsen Civil Rights Act with Mel Larsen. And of course, Governor Whitmer just renamed a building to honor them this past year. So, in many cases, these are names that we know, names that we've heard, and we want to take a deeper dive in their stories and really look at how they came to government and how they helped change the state in ways that we still see and feel as modern citizens today.
The second presentation will be held virtually at 7 p.m. Tuesday night, free of charge. All you need to do is RSVP to the email on your screen to reserve a spot.
I hope that people can take away a sense of pride that Michigan's workforce in the Capitol building has been perhaps a little more diverse than what we might think, historically speaking.
And stay tuned in to the Capitol programming on social media for more information about its monthly history series.